Welcome to Beauty and Gratitude with D'angelo Thompson. That's me. And thank you all for joining me today. I have some great guests. Nathan Hale Williams, attorney, author, director, writer, you name it. Rashida Harris, my favorite model and muse. And the talented chefs, Adrienne and Joe Pace. And they have a gorgeous vegan food line, vegetarian food line, healthy food line called Biscuits and Bones. Not quite vegetarian, they have meat too. So thank you for tuning in. So we should get Nathan on. Hi, Nathan.
Hey, how are you? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Thank you so much. Thank you. And welcome. So let's talk. Let's tell us what we're working on. I met you about 18 years ago in New York City. That's where we started really with our careers, you know, yours and first, you know, an entertainment lawyer, and then writing, film and television. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that.
So you want to go through the history, or you want me to talk about what and move up to what we're doing now?
Basically move up to what you're doing now. I know that I've worked on a few projects with you.
Well, I'll start with the very
Love Passion.
I'll start with the very first project we worked on, and which was now 14 years ago. It was a show that I created, and I was the executive producer of, called My Model Looks Better Than Your Model, hosted by Marcel. Fun fact, Bevy Smith was our fashion den maven, and that was her first her first job on television, and D'Angelo was our key. He was the head of our department, and he just was just a wonderful person to know to begin with, because we were friends before. We were friendly before that, and then we really became friends when we started working together. And that was my very first TV show. And it was quite funny because I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was also the showrunner. That's one of the benefits of starting out on a small cable network like BETJ.
You learn a lot.
You learn a lot, and you get more opportunities to do higher up things, And so I always joke with people that I skipped a couple of steps. I went from being a lawyer to being a producer. And then about 5 years ago, after writing a column for Essence magazine for about 5 years, I decided to make the transition in film, being a producer to being a writer-director, and made my directorial debut with a film called Love for Passion, which you also did makeup and glam and all of that.
That was amazing to work on. A beautiful story as well. Beautiful story.
Yes. Thank you. And that's consistent with the work that I want to, my company and I want to produce is, really impactful, empowering, uplifting art and entertainment. That's also fun. I always say it's like a spoonful of sugar. Inhale entertainment is like a spoonful of sugar. You don't even know that you're being taught or there's a message behind it. But like that film was about forgiveness. The follow-up film to that was a film that I did called 90 Days, starring Tiana Paris, Nick Few, and Pauletta Washington. And that was about HIV and AIDS in the African-American heterosexual community, particularly talking about Black women, because I realized that, of all the conversations that were being had around HIV and AIDS, Black women were being left out. And I wanted to do it in a way that was not heavy-handed, that was not, a sad song. It's a wonderful love story.
Beautiful story.
And won, many awards around the world, actually. And I just got a report back from Dr. Jasmine Simmons, who used the film as the basis of her dissertation. And it's on Black women living with HIV. And it's my business partner, Richard, and I cried about it because it was so, found to be so impactful.
Nathan, I found that particular film, 90 Days, was powerful in this sense. I think it crossed over. It educated a lot of people about HIV and AIDS and what it takes to be in a relationship with someone who's positive and someone who's negative. and it was beautifully done. The sets, the actors, the script. So you did a really, I mean, when I saw it, it was next level for me. I said, you know what? Hollywood's doing Nathan right, because it just felt right. Everything just seemed synchronized, would be the best word.
And that's the way it went. You know, we had a seamless production. Everyone came and showed up with their A game. You know, I've really been blessed, though, you know this. I've been blessed to be surrounded by people who really love what they do, but they're also very kind. And so we have fun. You know, I have a rule when I'm hiring crew, is that no assholes. You know, no people that, if you are one of those people that likes to throw things and yell and scream, and you don't belong on one of my sets.
No time for that. No time for that.
Because it's really a privilege, D'Angelo, what we get to do. We get to create art and beauty things for a living and make money from it and touch people's lives. And so why wouldn't I approach every time I get to do that with a moment of gratitude, beauty and gratitude, you know, as your show is called. And so I want to be surrounded by people, creators, artists that believe in that spiritual connection to the work as much as they believe in the work.
And they're grateful to be there. You know, they're grateful to be there. I know that with 90 Days, with what's going on around the country, what's going on around politically in the country, you use that to create Burden, which is your current film. And tell our audience about Burden.
Yeah, I want to say it's our current film. You are
our current film, yes.
Yes, you are an executive producer of that film. Thank you very much. Burden it's one, I think you were the one that said I must be aligned with the Orishas, because I came up with Burden on tour for 90 days. It was April 2018, and I was in a hotel somewhere. And I don't know if you remember that those two gentlemen that were in Starbucks in Philadelphia got arrested. And it was during a time when all of those things were happening. Barbecue Becky, you know, calling the people, you know, the police and the people with the backyard barbecue.
Now Karen.
Yeah, all of those things. And the best thing I know to do, so I was upset. The best thing that I know to do is to channel those negative emotions into something positive and beautiful.
Right.
In April 2018, I had no idea that, you know, we'd be in the middle of what we're in now, which I think is a renaissance of, you know, some people are calling it civil rights 2.0, but it's much more than that. It's
much bigger than that. Much bigger than that.
It's a renaissance of thinking across the board and how we interact with one another, and not just about race, about everything, how we interact with each other on gender and transphobia and all of those things. And I love the moment we're in right now, because it is, let's throw it all in and let's get it all right, right?
It's a gumbo right now. It's like serious
gumbo of getting it right. You know, I'm not trying to be right. I'm trying to get it right, you know? And Burden, you know, chronicles a day in the life of a Black man. I realized with 90 Days that we make assumptions that people know more than they really do.
That's so true. That is so true. Yes.
Yeah, and I made assumptions about people, particularly in the African-American community. I just knew we were a lot further along than we were, and I was shocked. That's been the same experience I've had with Burden. You know, I knew that deep down in my heart, I knew that people didn't really know what it's like to walk a day in a life in our shoes.
In our skin,
And also, so it chronicles all of the micro and macro aggressions that the star Bennett Lewis, played by Nick Few, goes through in his day. And it ends in this beautiful scene where he's talking to the divine energy, Yahweh, played by Pauletta Washington again. I'm pretty
Who was radiant. She was wonderful. So easy to work with.
Gorgeous. And she's just a goddess in of her own right. And then ask this question, this burden that you speak of, is it a state of mind or a state of being? And, you know, I have, you know, we've been to Fortune 200 companies, law firms, community organizations, film festivals, and every audience has a different experience because of the energy in the room. But I have to say, we are literally changing people's perspectives and also changing lives. Within corporate settings, we are empowering people of color, Black people, women, people of different religions to speak their truth. And if you are able to create art like that and then also make money from it, because I believe in showbiz, you know, Vivica Fox.
It is a business.
Yes. Vivica Fox once told me, honey, this is showbiz. And the more you know about the biz, the more you get to show. And so, you know, we are not just making films for our health. We're making films to make impact, make change, and make money.
You know, Nathan, when I read the script, I was very touched by it. And I saw it, it's exactly what I was feeling at the time, because we do see those microaggressions, whether we're walking into an elevator, a department store, no matter where we are in life. You know, there are those little things that happen that we may not even talk to our partners about, you know? So I'm so glad to be a part of it. I'm glad that it's getting a lot of exposure. Tell some of the people the things you've been doing with Burden. No, just with Burden in general, like corporate, you know, diversity and inclusion.
So we were, you know, one of our major corporate sponsors was Novartis Pharmaceuticals. And, you know, we've been, you know, doing programs with them across their, you know, at first it was supposed to be for a niche, but then they saw the utility of the film and now they're expanding it for their global interactions. And really we worked with world-renowned diversity and inclusion experts, you know, Dr. Derek Gay, you know, Gloria Cotton, Marsha Bonner, to develop a program around the film that really helps people identify their blind spots, bias, you know, because I come from this, you know, I come from the position that you never should go into any kind of learning situation attacking anyone. So the way the film, it deals with these issues is not heavy-handed and it's universal. So Bennett encounters, you know, discrimination from a Black woman, you know, in a jewelry store who doesn't think that he's able to afford the $10,000 earrings he's buying for his wife. He encounters it in a yoga studio from a young white gay boy. You know what I mean? And that's really
it comes from every angle.
Every angle. And I think that has been so helpful in people receiving the film and being open to its message, is that it's not singling out anybody. I start those programs off by telling people, you know, we all have bias. You know, I have a positive bias towards you. You know, you can have a negative or a positive bias. And so we all have bias. And the more we understand that, then the less it feels like we're attacking anyone. There's some people that need to be called on the carpet and told about themselves. But, you know, for the most part, I think that people want to do their best and they want to do better. And the film allows them to do that, you know, the film and the discussion. I lost you, D'Angelo, so I'm not sure that I'm still on. Oh, okay, so, you know, so yeah, that's Burden. And, you know, we want to continue to create content that does exactly what Burden is doing, which is uplift, empower, educate, and entertain.
Thank you. I got locked out for a minute.
No worries. I kept it going. We kept it going.
Yeah, I see. Thank you.
That's why it's live. That's why they call it live.
Yes, live, honey. So Nathan, one thing about this show, it's beauty and gratitude, and beauty is in your art, of course. And I'm thankful and I see it. What are you grateful for or most grateful for?
I am grateful for the love in my life. You know, that's the first thing that I wake up and thank God for, is that one thing that I know for sure, you know, as Oprah says, this I know for sure, is that I am loved, and I'm loved sincerely, and I'm loved by my family, and I have a cadre, a crew of lifelong, literally like my best friend, my two best friends, I've known my entire life, all 44 years of it.
Wow.
And you know, I don't know many people that can really say that. And so that gives me the fuel. You know, this entertainment game is a hard game. You know, these people ain't, you know, they're not always for your good in these streets. You know, I had to go to Chicago, had to go keep it real for Chicago. But, you know, they're not always for you.
Brian's piping in. I hear you, Brian.
And
it's true.
yeah, it's true. And so you have to have a foundation and a base and a core and a center that you know what's important. And so I'm just grateful for the love that, the love from God, the divine first, and then the love from my family and friends outwardly and that comes into me. So that's what I'm most grateful for. But I'm also grateful that I get to do what I found my purpose, and I get to live in it, and I get to make money from it, and live a really good life from it, and travel, and when we could travel, but travel and see the world doing it. There's not much more you can really ask for. I think that's success. Maya Angelou has a quote, success is loving yourself, loving what you do and how you do it and who you do it with. Right. And then that means I'm successful. And
that's the key. Thank you for coming on to Beauty and Gratitude.
Thank you. Can I shout out, we are in a renaissance, and I do my best to support all Black businesses. And I'm wearing a shirt from my friend's business, Lucky, and they're on Instagram, and I'll post the tag on my Instagram story.
Okay, and I'll share it.
And then I'll share it, and then support him. His clothes are great. It's promoting diversity, inclusion, and particularly with whoever your partner is. And it's agnostic in that regard. And it's wonderful. The fabric is beautiful and nice. Great stuff.
Is he based in Atlanta or in New York?
He's from Compton, California, and he's based in California.
Okay, nice. Okay.
Homegrown. Okay. And and just great, and so we need to support as much as we can. And so I'll post it on a picture on my Instagram, and then I'll send it to you, and then we can tag him.
Nathan, thank you for coming onto my premiere show, and I love you so much, and thank you so much, baby.
I love you so much. Godspeed with this. Thank you for having me. Great time. Good luck to all the rest of the guests.
Yes. Have a wonderful day, babe.
You too. Cheers.
Thank you. Rashida? Should I go now, Brian? Yes, let's go to commercial break, please. We'll be right back with Rashida Harris, model and muse. See you soon.
Hey everybody, I'm Francesca Maxime, and want to really invite you into a new conversation, which might feel a little bit uncomfortable to start. Inside Out, with Natasha and Francesca, unpacking racism. Where did we get these ideas? Why are we in this white body supremacist society? What is it to be an embodied anti-racist? I'm with Dr. Natasha Stovall. Natasha, explain what you see in your therapy sessions and why you want to do the show.
I want to do this show, Francesca, because so many white people in my practice are asking, why is it that the world that we live in is so racist, but I don't feel racist? I'm not a racist. And even though I think that's a very sincere question, I think all white people now need to begin from a place of the world that we create is racist, whether we mean it to be or not. So how do we understand and start to change the ways that we have learned, whether it's something we're aware of learning, if anyone who taught us was aware that that's what they were teaching us, how can we help them stop practicing racism even when they don't feel racist? So that's where we're starting from.
I saw it.
And we're going to go from there. And yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable, but that's what
I was a little
all
the way live.
Are good at.
All right, Natasha, thank you. And everybody who wants to tune in, it's pretty much a show that's going to be about white-bodied folks and inquiries there. And certainly we'll be taking your questions, but anybody can tune in. It's going to be on Facebook Live Wednesdays at noon. We'll look forward to seeing you.
Gratitude. And now we have model and muse, Rashida Harris. I've known Rashida for almost 20 years. We met, we'll talk about that. So come on, Rashida, come on the show. Hi, Rashida.
Hi. What's up, D'Angelo?
Thank you for coming on my premiere show of Beauty and Gratitude.
Of course, anything for you.
When did we meet? I think we met through hairstyle.
What are we going to talk about?
You know, wig stylist Dia Barbell, correct? Is that how we met initially? Okay.
Oh, so long ago. Yeah.
Yeah, we've done so many photo shoots, and we've also worked for clients like, Elliott Lauren, a lot of great and interesting brands, you know, and you've always been there for me as my muse when I did my lipstick line. You know, you've been in my books, you've been in my portfolio and my website. So tell us how you got started as a model.
Well, I did an internship in high school in the Empire State Building. So it's pretty cool to leave my school to get to go hop on the Metro North to the Empire State Building every day. So I interned at a modeling agency, and they said to me one day, "Oh, do you want to get your pictures done?" I'm like, "Me?" I was just so insecure at that age, and I never thought about it. And I asked my parents, "Hey, can I have $500 for a photo shoot?" And they were like, "Yeah, no." So, so I took the money out of I'd never been to the bank. I took the money out of my savings account and went into the shoot. And then months later, my mom's friend saw me in a magazine and I was busted, but she was happy about it. So she's been supportive ever since then.
How long has that been? How many years now?
That was in 1998.
Oh, wow.
So a long time. Yeah.
And you've worked for companies like Nordstrom's, Target, you've done runway.
Yeah, I'm only 5'8", so I couldn't always book the runway jobs. So I usually mostly did beauty, which is fun.
Which is great.
Because I love getting my makeup done because I'm not good at doing it. This is as good as I can do.
Well, you don't need much. You don't need much at all.
I would always love it when you're doing makeup. I'm like, just my makeup, D'angelo, make me pretty.
You know, I know that, you've been modeling for almost 2 decades. So what, for you, how do you keep your skin glowing and healthy? How do you keep your body healthy and in shape? Share that with our audience.
Well, there's a lot that goes into my beauty routine. But we'll start with water. I drink a lot of water. I only drink out of glass bottles because of the plastic and the BPA. So glass water, and then I don't use chemicals on my skin. So I use a lot of oils like argan oil, jojoba oil, grapeseed oil, coconut oil, but mostly on my body, not my face, because it's a little heavy for your face. But just trying to keep it. I love it too. Yes. And I actually just started in this quarantine, just kind of getting a little DIY savvy, and I started doing body scrubs, making my own body scrub from Dead Sea salt, essential oils, and grapeseed oil.
Yes.
Or
I think a lot
oil.
of businesses are being born. I think a lot of businesses are being born out of this time of COVID. People are being more creative. You know, they're in their kitchens, they're trying salt and sugar with coconut oil and, like you said, essential oils. And this is what we pay sometimes $30, $50, or $100 for when it's right in your kitchen, you know?
Yeah.
So,
And even stuff like air purifiers, those Glade plugins, or, all that kind of stuff. It's just, you can just use an essential oil diffuser and essential oils, and it's natural.
True.
So I like to do frankincense and lavender oil. Those are my top two. And eucalyptus oil is great in the shower.
Yes.
Get on it. You'll feel like you're in a spa.
That's a good idea. I've never tried that. That's a good idea. And it helps with breathing too. Helps with your breathing as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Depending on the time of the day, I always have the diffuser running.
Okay.
So it always smells good in here.
I know that you moved to LA and you're modeling and working out here. So what's that been like? And I know you've traveled some more. You can share Alaska with us. So talk about your experiences here in LA and how you're doing during COVID.
Well, I'm here with my parents. I'm helping my mom care for my dad because he's had a few strokes and his dementia. So my mom's been kind of overwhelmed with that the last 6 years. So after I left Alaska in May, I just flew straight here to just give her a break. So I've kind of just been doing all the cooking, cleaning, laundry, baking cakes,
amazing.
Doing gluten-free. I'm making everything gluten-free, getting my mom on a gluten-free train, and coconut sugar, and just like trying to swap out all her stuff and put all my healthy stuff in.
You're making their life more clean as far as how they eat and their environment around them. Yes.
Yeah, like tonight I cooked black rice instead of white rice, I made black
Right.
rice, which is full of antioxidants.
Okay.
Yeah. Or instead of regular potatoes, sweet potatoes. It's just these tiny little swaps that makes a world of difference in your body. And they're getting older now. So I'm like, Mom, stop eating that garbage. Put that down. Eat this instead. Have some seaweed snacks.
Sometimes it's kind of rote. They don't know. You know what I mean? They weren't necessarily taught. They know what they know. And then they have, children like you to introduce them to new ways of thinking, new ways of eating, what happened in your life to make you start eating better and taking care of yourself better?
Well, my dad has always been really health conscious. I used to do carrot juice in high school. Like when I was in high school, I would cut his carrots for him and put them in a big Tupperware for him. So when I was at school, he could just make his juice throughout the day. I think that's when he was getting his PhD then. So he was always home. So he had plenty of time to juice. So since high school, I got into juicing then, but then I kind of got out of it. I went to college and was having fun, and I didn't have a juicer, But in the last few years, I really changed my diet because I got fibroids, which are very common. Apparently, over 70% of women will have them at some point in their life.
Especially women of color.
Yeah, and you don't even know you have them. And so I got them surgically removed a few years ago, and my doctor didn't say, "Hey, what's your diet like? Hey, are you drinking water?" Enough water. Are you drinking out of plastic? You might want to throw away your plastic Tupperware. You might want to not drink out of plastic. It's just, so I had to do all this research.
Balance, all of that.
Yeah, like which supplements are you taking? Are you taking iron pills? Are you taking multivitamin? Like I just found out I'm anemic. So here I am on Google trying to figure out what I can do about that. So I found these plant-based blood builder pills on Amazon. They also have it at Sprouts. I love Sprouts. I don't know if you like Sprouts, but that's my favorite store.
I've not been there. So when you come back, we'll go. We'll go.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Just don't sit me on an empty stomach because we will spend way too much money. But they have really good deals.
What's interesting I know about, cysts, that a lot of women get. I remember probably about 5 years in a row, I noticed that all of my female friends were having issues and going in for surgery. And I just found that so strange that so many of them were having issues with their, ovaries, Where do you think that comes from? I know you're not a doctor, but it's just a conversation that I think needs to be had.
Yeah, they don't really know what causes it. Which is interesting. There's been so much research done. They still don't know. But I still thought that, I should start reading. I started reading the labels of everything that I put in my body, like anything I eat and anything I put on my skin. I no longer buy lotion. I use coconut oil on my skin, organic coconut oil. I cook with grapeseed oil now, which is really good for you. Avocado oil. Obviously extra olive oil, but I try to not heat that. I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Sebi.
Yes.
He's pretty interesting. Yeah. So he's like, don't heat up that olive oil. So
really?
So just kind of tweaking my diet to protect myself, because at the end of the day, you have to take control of your health. No one's going to do it for you. And doctors, they'll prescribe pills to kind of mask the symptoms, but I want to prevent things. So
it's the root of it.
Yeah. So for me, it's like I take a multivitamin every day. I take a probiotic every day. I take my iron pills every day. I take mushroom pills. Are really good at helping you boost your immune system.
And anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, I have an arsenal over there. What else have? Oil of oregano, a colloidal silver. Fish oil, really good for you. Black cumin seed oil. I take all of this every day.
It's funny you would say that. I have a guest coming on in a few weeks named Nancy Addison, and she talks about wellness. And in her book, which I'm reading now and highlighting a few things, she talks about colloidal silver. She talks about oregano oil. She talks about how to detox your body, how to shrink cysts.
Yeah.
And that it has a lot to do with your diet, It
does. And a lot of these companies, they're using cheaper ingredients like soy lecithin is in everything. It was in my mom's candy she was eating the other day. She was eating chocolate, and I look at the label. Obviously, I read everything before I eat it, and I'm like, why is there soy in chocolate?
Right.
And I looked at a couple of things in our cabinets, soy lecithin, they sneak it in, and they can use sunflower lecithin instead.
Right.
It's
Natural,
probably
right.
cheaper to use soy, right? So it's just being really proactive and just taking control of your own health. And that's when I found out about my fibroids and I had to get surgery. I'd never had a major surgery before.
Right.
Well, I had my appendix removed when I was 2, but I don't remember that.
Right.
But it was really scary. I mean, surgery is a very scary thing, and I don't really want to go through that again. So I said, okay, this isn't, because they can grow back. And I want to have children soon at some point.
Yes. But beauty comes from the inside out, you know? Beauty comes from the inside out. And I really believe that. So how you're taking care of yourself, definitely, I can see it in your skin, Rashida. I can see it in your eyes, in your hair, everything. So I can see the difference. And when friends change their habits, I can see it. Even with me, I stopped eating a lot of meat, and it's been almost 3 years now. The bloating doesn't happen. The lethargic feel that I have after eating, like I'm up probably 16 hours a day, you know, no breaks. And I'm going. And I know it has a lot to do with my diet and how I take care of myself, you know?
Yeah.
So
it's all about stepping out of your comfort zone, really. You know, we're just so conditioned to kind of, you know, we're kind of just used to our way of doing things. But when you just stop and say, like, wait a minute, I don't want to keep doing this anymore. I don't want to feel like this anymore. And then you change. Because I love this quote from Les Brown. He says, in order to do something you've never done, you have to become someone you've never been.
Right.
And I love that, because it's like, okay, I can choose to keep eating a certain way, or I can say, you know, I'm going to just read the labels and do my own research.
Right. And that's an educated consumer is the best consumer. You know, a lot of the books that I wrote about beauty, especially the one I wrote for teen girls, I wanted them to understand that they have to do their own research. They can't necessarily listen to influencers. They have to really know what they're buying and knowing what they're doing. Because I know, even as an artist, I know the illusions and the myths that are told in beauty. So it's important for people to do their own research, you know?
Yeah, I was just watching an interview with Jamila Jamil, and she was talking about body image and how, you know, certain products are marketed to make people think, oh, skinny tea, that's going to make me skinny. It's like, well, exercise will make you skinny, and drinking water will make you skinny, and eating healthy will make you skinny.
We all want the easy way out, right?
It's all marketing. And it's like, no, I'm not going to just keep giving my money away. I'm going to take control of my finances and my body and just choose to make better decisions. That's it.
So we're about to wrap up soon. So I have a few questions. What are you most grateful for? You know, what brings gratitude into your life?
I'm grateful for my health.
Yes.
I feel like right now, with everything going on, we all are grateful to be in good health. Before all this happened, you kind of took it for granted a little bit.
Yes.
I'm just grateful to just wake up every day. I'm grateful to be alive. My mom told me that I was kidnapped when I was a kid in the park. I was like, wait, what? But
another conversation. Oh my goodness. Really?
A whole other conversation. She said, oh, I would never have known you if that man kept running away with you. I was like, wait, what?
What?
Yeah. So there's that. And it's just, and then my mom was held in a robbery before she had, right before she had me. And that could have been another time where I might not be here. And I'm just so grateful that everything is aligned to where I'm here. So it's like, what am I going to do to add value to the world? Because I know that I can help other people when it comes to learning about health and nutrition and fibroids, and maybe what you can do and what you can eat and change, because your doctor is really not going to give you this information.
And you know what? You do it. You do it. You do it all the time. When we talk about health. We talk about how we're thinking, what we're doing in our lives. You know, like I said to you, I'm going to send you and your parents a mug, you know, Beauty and Gratitude.
Thank you.
I'll send one for each of you, for your dad, for your mom and you. And I'll send you my book as well, Rashida. So thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing this.
I'm so proud of you for your book, by the way. I'm so proud of you for your whole career. You're doing so great. And I'm sending you so much love.
You know, as the universe pours into me, I try to share. So that's the key, you know. So thank you again. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Okay. Thank you. Bye, honey. Our next guest, guys, will be Adrienne and Joe Pace, owners of Biscuits and Bones. You're going to love these guys. Great chefs.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame, living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Solidity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
Ask for Candy is partnering with Celebrity Magazine, which means we're back live on Facebook, YouTube, and maybe even Instagram, wherever you get your video podcast. Join us every Wednesday night live at 7 o'clock for some juicy conversations.
Thank you. Welcome back to Beauty and Gratitude. Our next guest is Joe and Adrienne Pace, owners of Biscuits and Bones, gourmet dog food, gourmet pet food. So come on in, guys. Let's talk.
Hi, D'Angelo. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. We're a New York-based company, and we produce, Connecticut, actually. I always forget because I'm a native New Yorker.
Mm-hmm.
But we're in Connecticut now, and we produce gourmet dog foods and dog treats for a farmer's market audience.
Nice, nice. I'm going to back up a little before we really dive into Biscuits and Bones and talk about your history and your businesses as chefs. You know, Joe, I know you own Risotteria, you know, in the West Village for over 20 years. One of the first vegan restaurants, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And gluten-free.
In the New York City area.
And gluten-free, yeah.
And gluten-free, yes, gluten-free. So talk to us a little bit about that.
I had opened the restaurant in 1999 to kind of serve other chefs after work. So we would open at 7 p.m. and close at 3 a.m.
Wow.
And the idea was to give guys after work a place to go and eat something that they could relate to. So we did Italian street food. And we wound up with 2 stores that we had for 20 years. We had one in the Village and one on the Upper West Side. And out of that, we really created the gluten-free market because we were the first restaurant in New York City to offer gluten-free pizza, paninis, salads. Everything was gluten-free, it was vegan, it was vegetarian. So we kind of defined that market for a good 10 or 15 years.
Wow. And I know I've eaten there and it was delicious. So
Thank you.
I had my favorite dishes and I would, you know, pop by. And it's, you know, Adrienne, I met you over 20 years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but you know what, D'Angelo, I can't recall where and when, to be honest with you. I don't remember.
You hired me for a job, actually.
Oh, yeah, for which magazine?
Either Vibe or some other magazine for a young and up-and-coming rapper, a female rapper. And nothing ever happened really with her career. But
that was probably during my time at the Source magazine.
That's it. It was Source. I'm sure I have the tear sheet somewhere.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then from there, you worked for a lot of different magazines and then entered into the museum, the art world. Am I correct?
Actually, that was reversed. I started out in the museum world and left that, and then I went into the publishing world. Excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah. And
then from publishing, you started dabbling in your art, your love of pastries, and became a pastry chef.
Yes, I trained at the French Culinary Institute, and then from there, I worked at different bakeries and restaurants. And decided that restaurant work was not for me. The hours were crazy, as well as the temperament. So From there, I went into film production, and that's what I did for a number of years. And I met my husband. We started a catering business, and now we're doing the dog food business.
So, how was Biscuit and Bones formed? How was it created? What was the inspiration behind it?
This is a long story, and it starts back in about 2002 when I had a cat that had distemper. I had a beautiful animal that had a long nose. He was a black and white tuxedo and the best personality animal. And I brought him to the vet, and I adopted him from a shelter, and the vet said he would die. And I didn't really accept that as a solution. So I started making cat food for him and giving him Gatorade by syringe 6 or 7 times a day. Well, he lived to be 18 years old and was the most fantastic animal that I've ever met.
I met him.
It's a great animal. It's just the personality rich, beautiful black and white tuxedo with a little bow tie. So we made cat food. But cats are so finicky that it never found an audience outside of a few people.
Right.
A few years later, I met a guy who had 2 pit bulls, pit bulls that used to snore and had allergies, and he had all sorts of problems with these dogs. And of course, pit bulls, that's normal for them. And so I happened to be working at a butcher shop, and I said, Lou, and let me make some food for your dogs. And that's how it began. I made food for his dogs. After about a month and a half, they didn't snore. They had no skin problems. And it was all because I used only grass-fed, fresh stuff and farm carrots and sweet potatoes and only natural stuff and all human grade. This wasn't like frozen meat from China that they make dog food out of. This was real food that you and I would eat.
Right.
And it solved the problem, and then it just grew organically out of that. And Adrienne's been going to farmers market now for years, and now it is a mail order, a web-based, farmers market-based business.
Right. Wow. Adrienne, what are your clients like? What kind of people are you interacting with at the farmers market?
All kinds of clients. So we get the, I'm trying to be PC, the people who are all natural.
Okay.
We get affluent, we get not so affluent. We get people who want to try alternative dog foods that are all natural, not the store-bought the dog food that's made with horse meat and all these additives and preservatives.
Wow.
Yeah. So a wide range of people shop at the markets, and the markets are in Stamford, Connecticut at the currently.
Okay. In Stamford, and is on the weekends only, Saturdays and Sundays?
Saturday and Sundays. Oh, and also on Wednesdays as well.
Wednesday, Saturdays, and Sundays. What's the time period?
On Wednesdays, 9 to 2. Saturday and Sunday also from 9 to 2. 9 to 2 p.m.
We're at Harbor Point in Stamford, and we're in downtown Stamford on Saturdays and downtown Stamford on Wednesdays.
Yes.
Guys, this is an amazing business, and I know for sure it's going to grow tremendously. Just get ready. Just get ready.
Thank you.
We hope so.
We also do CBD products for dogs. We do biscuits. We do dehydrated sweet potatoes. So we kind of run bone broths. We run the gamut from high protein, all natural food to all natural treats, as well as CBD treats for nervous dogs.
Wow, it sounds like my diet. Because I use CBD from a company called It's Brown Girls Jane, and it's for balance. So when I feel like I'm feeling unbalanced, I take that under my tongue. Then I have a sleeping aid with CBD that knocks me out literally after 30 minutes. And I wake up naturally, you know. What kind of advice would you give to your consumers or to our audience about healthy dog foods?
Do your research. Just because a friend suggests dog food, it doesn't mean that you have to take your friend up on offer.
Right.
So, but you want ingredients that are whole ingredients, like grass-fed beef, chia seeds, whole foods, whole potatoes, eggs. You want whole foods that aren't altered in any way.
And fresh. I mean, everything we make the food from is fresh. There's no frozen. Exactly. There's no. It's all handmade in small batches, and it's cooked by 2 professional chefs. I make most of the food now that we're in COVID because our production space has shifted. So, you know, you have 25 years of experience making your dog food.
Right. And yeah, being chefs. And Joe, you're also a professor of culinary arts. Is that true?
Correct. I teach culinary arts at the Institute of Culinary Education in Manhattan. And, you know, that, of course, is a very prestigious school. And it kind of just adds a little, panache?
Yeah.
Cachet. It adds a little cachet to, you know, to our business.
Yes. And you know what I love about both of you is that you're so well-rounded. And I think beauty, you know, comes from the inside out. And when I've been at your home and sat at your table, I know you put the best food in front of me. You're not, well, I'm going to do a cheaper version because we have 10 guests. You know, you really, you pour love into it, you know? And so what are you most grateful for?
Okay, well, I am grateful for my drive and for my husband's drive. I am grateful to be able to do what I love to do.
Yes.
And I'm very grateful for a very supportive family.
Yes. And friends.
Without question.
I mean, and I in turn am very grateful for friends and family, but most of all, I'm so grateful to my wife because she took a company from a very small sales volume and has blown it way out of the water where we never thought it would go, and she's done that all on her own because I still teach. And so she runs the company, and I do the production, but she's actually in the trenches doing the day-to-day. And she has grown the company so much, and it's all on her back. Yeah. She is.
You have a Spelman girl, am I correct? a Spelman woman.
I am a Spelman woman, as is my sister. So yes, yes. I'm sure that plays a role in my determination and drive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's true. It's true.
But and also, D'Angelo, it's that desire to be your own boss and not have to answer to anyone.
Hallelujah.
That makes a huge difference. Yeah.
How have you used this time during COVID, not only for your business, but personally and other passions and endeavors? What has COVID, the positive side of COVID, not the negatives, the positive side of COVID been for you?
Okay, well, so twice a week, my family has a Zoom chat meeting.
Yes.
So it's enabled us to actually see each other weekly and talk to each other and catch up and stay in contact. Because normally, I don't know, I talk to my mom maybe twice a week, maybe. My siblings, not so often, maybe once, maybe. So that's been a plus. Other than that, I've been doing yoga at home via YouTube videos, and that's been very good.
And we cook a lot. We cook every night for ourselves.
Same here, guys.
So we've been able to develop, all sorts of dishes that personally I would never think of, but because Adrienne has certain dietary restrictions, it forces me to think out of the box. You know, she doesn't eat beef, she doesn't eat chicken, she doesn't eat pork. Yep. So, you know, we've created stuff that I tell you has been amazing with those parameters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I've been cooking a lot too, Joe. Mm-hmm. So how has it been for your son, guys? Is he coping with everything? Enjoying the summer? He's good? Yeah?
Well,
it's tough. It's tough for the kids.
Yeah, it is. A lot of my friends are having a hard time with their kids.
It's
teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel very bad for them there. Yeah.
I mean, we're very lucky that Pedro, he realizes the scope of everything, and he knows that there's a certain amount of school that he's going to miss, and he knows that. So he's an A student, but he misses the social interaction.
I was going to say that.
And of course, the social growth that comes from that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're very cognizant of his mental health and keeping him engaged and trying to introduce new things, you know, new ideas, new things to do, that sort of thing, to keep him occupied.
That's a conversation I've been having with a lot of friends, you know, that have children. Like, we have to understand that we're going through our own stuff as adults, and for children, it's magnified, you know, in a way, you know what I mean? Because it's like from normalcy to like, what the fuck is going on, you know? So, yeah, it's just normalcy, creating normalcy is good.
It's an issue, and so we follow the news together, we follow issues together, and we also, you know, we do sports together. He likes skateboarding, he likes to be outside with his friends. So of course we encourage that as much as we can. But he's a very smart kid, he's a very savvy kid, and he's very news savvy. He's very socially responsible. And I think a lot of that has to do because of our responsibility to society as well, that we kind of that along to him, that it's important to be aware of what's going on.
Yes, it is. What's next for you guys? What's next in business? What's next personally?
What's next for us? Well, to expand the business, of course, that's at the forefront.
Come to California. It would do well.
For sure. And by the way, people can order online. So if you have friends in California that want to order on our website, please, you know, invite them to do as much.
We are biscuitsandbones.com.
Biscuitsandbones.com. Okay, perfect, guys. Well, I thank you so much for coming on. I know it's late there, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks very much.
Premiere show. That's fantastic.
Really,
congratulations to you, D'Angelo. You are a master at everything you do. And I want to tell folks that D'Angelo did my makeup for my wedding.
Yes, you look good.
And I've never seen myself look so fresh and just.
Please, you're beautiful.
Thank you, honey. But D'Angelo did my makeup. It was so. It was beautiful.
Hey, Joe.
You made her even more beautiful.
That's it. Thank you, Adrienne. Thank you, Joe. You guys have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you guys for watching Beauty and Gratitude. I want to thank our guests, Hale Williams, Rashida Harris, Adrienne and Joe Pace of Biscuits and Bones. And one more thing, whoever wants to win a book, just email us right now. The first person to email us will win the book, and I'll send it to you. Thank you so much. 100 Days of Gratitude. Have a good night. Ciao.
Thank you.
Solivity Magazine brings you the best in inspiration on Solivity TV. Check out our new shows. Mark your calendars for Solivity Magazine shows by going to solivity.com now.